So this wasn't the video that I had planned on presenting this morning. In fact, I already finished the video that's going to go up tomorrow. So this is Saturday morning, December 12th. Video I was going to do was revolving around Cyberpunk 2077 because that is, well, the hot topic, and that's something here on the channel I have to be very cognizant of whenever I select content that we produce, because we are in the print world, we do fairly well, but in the YouTube space, we are still relatively small. I mean, we've barely broken 50,000 subscribers, whereas a lot of our contemporaries are 150 plus to 4 million or more. So congratulations to all of those who have done really, really well in this space, and hopefully one day we'll catch up to you. But as of yesterday, Hardware Unboxed, if you guys follow us, there's a good chance there's a lot of overlap where you guys already follow Hardware Unboxed, Gamers Nexus, Linus Tech Tips, and all of these high sub count channels, and that's cool. We do too. I follow all of them. Most of my time spent outside of working and stuff is listening to what other tech tubers have to say and seeing, you know, what they're up to, because outside of this, I'm an enthusiast, and I love hardware, and I love seeing new stuff. And so everybody's familiar with the situation between Hardware Unboxed and GeForce, or NVIDIA as a whole, and there's somewhat of a fallout. I don't say somewhat, it definitely appears to be a fallout between them and PR regarding a perceived lack of their enthusiasm or coverage of ray tracing and other things. I'll let Hardware Unboxed do their thing. They've produced receipts, so there's no contesting that this happened. It happened. And a lot of it was revolving around what, like I said, a perceived lack of enthusiasm and encouragement of modern techniques and softwares and feature set of NVIDIA graphics cards, and that they would be allocating their Founders Edition cards to other media outlets. Now, I am fortunate on the video side of things because, quite frankly, all of the hardware that we get here for the YouTube channel is really for the website. I just find a way here on YouTube to present a different angle, hoping to offer something unique for hardware audiences. I try not to make the same review that you guys have seen from everybody else. I think these other channels do a far better job delivering full-blown reviews in video format. That's why I tend to abstain from those. I've tried to do very focused reviews. You guys follow the channel, you'll know our review videos are quite short. Typically, if they break 10 minutes, I'm not very happy with that, because I'm trying to get you a concise view of a particular aspect and then let you guys move on to the bigger, more in-depth reviews. Or if you see those bigger in-depth reviews, maybe I zero in on something that maybe they missed and brought you a little bit more information on that, which is one of the reasons why early on in the real-time ray tracing endeavors that started with Turing, if you go back on the channel, you'll find, outside of leaks and rumors and news and stuff, you'll find that I did a lot of in-depth coverage for these things. So when Control came, actually back up even further, when Battlefield 5 launched, we did first look, we did hands-on, we did looks at the visuals, the performance, and to give you an idea. So we kind of chronicled these things. When Control launched, oh my God, that's one of our better performing videos. It shows that people are interested, they want to know about it, and I try to do it in a way that is approachable, it's digestible, and quite honestly, again, everybody does all these other things in ray tracing, real-time ray trace effects. We know it's hybrid rendering, so there's still a lot of emphasis on rasterization, but there's also emphasis on the ray tracing side. So the ray traced effects, so reflections, shadows, global illumination, even the full path tracing game. So Quake 2 RTX, Minecraft with RTX, it's now out of beta. And those things are super exciting to me because they're fresh, they're new, they're where things are moving to, and it's really cool technology. And I get excited about new technology. I mean, if you follow my work in the past on the site, and I believe here on the channel, you'll find that when DX12 and Vulkan really started becoming a thing back with the 480 and 1060 days, I developed, I don't want to say, I didn't develop testing methodology, but I took the time to learn how to utilize OCAT and PresentMon and extract the information from the performance analysis and be able to do those next generation API testing when a lot of other people would just say, well, there's no way to do this yet and it just takes too much time. I simply moved past all of the other stuff because I knew they were going to continue doing the older method, and I let them do it, and I focused on the next generation stuff so that hopefully as time went on I could understand it better and maybe present a different angle, as I've said. But through none of this have we, me, myself, I've talked with both vendors, AMD and NVIDIA, and while they may clarify their position on things, I've never had anyone ask me to do something differently and change the way that I do things. They may ask that maybe I cover more stuff than what I do, and quite often I tell them I don't have time. I work a full-time 40-50 hour a week job during the day to support my house and my family and my kid and our future, and this is something I do because I love it, and I do get paid by the website. I don't get paid by any of the vendors to produce content. In fact, there's no ad on this video. If you've been watching it this long, you'll have noticed that there's no advertisement on it, so YouTube may not even share it out. But the thing that happened with Hardware Unboxed, the biggest problem for me, it's kind of selfish because Hardware Unboxed has I understand their positioning, and I have a feeling they're going to work things out. This has definitely gotten too big for people to just walk away from, so I think that's going to be resolved, and I don't think it's going to impact their integrity, and I don't think it should impact their delivery, and I don't think it should impact the way anybody else delivers their reviews, because if people start to alter their opinions and the way they test and everything because of this, then they're letting other people influence the way they do it. Now, it's possible that because I've chosen in the past to cover things like ray tracing performance and things like NVIDIA broadcast, so with the RTX voice, when that came out, we tested it, and it was really cool stuff. And even with AMD, when they came out with variable refresh rate for the consoles, we even talked about that here, and I don't really ever talk about consoles unless it's something really cool. And speaking of the consoles, they have ray tracing support, and RDNA 2 has ray tracing support. So one of the most exciting things for me was this is great because now it's more than just NVIDIA that has access to this in the market and NVIDIA users. It's all people going forward with the new technologies, they'll have access to it, and I think that's really great. And I've been covering it with the launch of these games, and I covered the AMD games that AMD partnered with to get ray tracing support in. So Godfall, we did that here. Even though it didn't have NVIDIA support, we still talked about it. Admittedly, it was a terrible implementation, and I still don't like it. But the Rift Breaker was fantastic. Its ray trace shadows in there show how ray trace shadows can really alter the name of the game, and I think they did a great job, and we covered that. And we covered Dirt 5, even though it's not publicly available. It's only behind the press keys, but we still covered it, and I tried to show the differences in performance between both vendors. And with the recent launch of the Radeon RX 6900 XT, I could have done just a review, but in the video that we did, we stated it wasn't a review. And if you wanted the review, where I did almost 20 pages, most of which was rasterization performance, and I even did smart access memory performance, and there's a lot of places that ignored those things, and we covered all of those, and even did ray tracing. And in the video, I didn't even try to the framing that I had of it was this was AMD's first generation ray tracing or RA accelerators, and how do they stack up with first generation NVIDIA, so with Turing. And they performed fairly well. Admittedly, it takes more ray accelerators than RT cores to get the same performance, but it shows that AMD, they're not as all in, I guess you can say, as what NVIDIA is when it comes to ray tracing. And I think the biggest problem, we're now 10 minutes into this video. I doubt anybody's watched it to this point, but this whole thing going public has basically handed a baton over to the fanboys. Now, there's a lot of you out there. Most of you, I would argue, are watching content, trying to get the best information that you can, but there's a lot of people out there that just watch to see who beats. So they look for something they can use to beat the person they don't like over the head with, and I completely understand those comments. I actually predict by now, if I go back and look at those videos, there's going to be a ton of comments saying that clearly this was an NVIDIA paid thing or an NVIDIA shield thing, but honestly, that's their prerogative. At this point, they have a good reason for being able to say that. I don't like it. I'm not happy about it, but I'll continue to do the coverage that we do here. We'll continue to find an angle that maybe is not necessarily getting missed or is just not being as proliferated as the other bigger channels, because we're still small and we still like to do kind of niche things, and hopefully going forward you guys will just understand where we're coming from. I don't know, I'm personally a little bit beat up about this because now I feel like a lot of the work that I've personally done over the past few years is just going to get disregarded by the community, and I understand why. I understand why they would look at it that way. I'm not mad at them. It is what it is. I'm always open to hear what you guys have to say. You know where the comment section is. I do read it. We're not so big that I can't read it. There are sometimes it just kind of blows up, but hopefully by the end of this video I kind of got our stance across. At least mine. Just a one-man operation here. If you enjoy what we do, you know where to find the subscribe button. You know where the like button is. Dislike it if you feel so inclined. And leave us a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys, especially if you've stayed this long. We'll catch you in the next one.